go to our legal panel now. Clayton Sims is a criminal defense attorney in the state of Utah, and Matt Murphy served as a homicide prosecutor in Orange County, California for 2 decades. Matt, I'm going to start with you. Is there anything to this move by the defense attorneys, that there's a conflict of interest?
Well, this is capital case litigation, and in capital case litigation, you
meaning the death penalty.
It's the death penalty, and there's an adage that they tell you right when you arrive in homicide, and that is death is different, and that is oftentimes in cases like this, the defense essentially will go to the mat on virtually everything, and to use a term that my fellow panelists are probably very familiar with. In the appellate process, everybody wants to be very careful about what's known as IAC, or ineffective assistance of counsel. So you'll see hearing after hearing like this. The judge, I'd be very surprised if the judge granted this, but the judge is being very, very careful. The last death penalty case I prosecuted, we had 93 pre-trial hearings like this before we actually got the case into it. 93 wow. Separate issues, challenged properly, sometimes less than maybe entirely properly by the defense, but yeah, we had 93.
Clayton, you know this judge well. He's obviously taking this seriously, regardless of what the merits of the attempt might be. What do you think he's going to rule?
I think that he's going to have a problem if he doesn't recognize the conflict. The witness could be called later on at a trial.
Why? He didn't see anything. Apparently he didn't see anything.
That's exactly why the defense would call her or him. They would say, you didn't see shooting anyone. You weren't harmed by this. So the prosecutor has made this person a favorable witness.
So, Clayton, you think there is merit to this motion by defense attorneys?
Absolutely. We have, as a defendant, you have a right to a fair and impartial jury. You have a right to a fair and impartial prosecutor that's not connected emotionally to this case. If you call this individual at the trial, their colleagues are going to have to cross-examine them. Fellow members in the prosecution team are going to have to cross-examine this person. And the prosecutor, the head prosecutor, Jeff Gray, learned about this through the text, learned about the case. His first impression was through this college student who his friend, they were having lunch together. That has an impact.
All right, Matt, I don't know if you were able to hear everything Clayton said because you're having earpiece problems. He thinks that there's merit to this.
Yeah, I got to disagree. Yeah, okay. We're going to see a million motions like this. You see this. Look, this is a very small area. You got a population of less than 93 people.
We should keep that in mind. Like when we talk, this is a small town. This is not a big teeming metropolis.
Less than 100,000 people,
right?
And there's about, give or take, about 4,000 people apparently at this event. So you're pretty arguably 1 degree of separation from just about anybody. But where does it go from there? Let's say they hit a home run, the judge goes, yes, we're recusing the entire prosecution team. Then you wind up with the Attorney General in the state of Utah. And arguably, that's worse. That's a worse draw for the defense because they have a much larger pool of attorneys, and the craft and the talent of the prosecutor that does these cases, especially in death cases, makes a big difference. And you got a bigger pool to draw from. The judge isn't going to grant this, but if he did, they could be going from the frying pan into the fire.
Well, we just got word that the hearing ended for the day moments ago, and it's now been continued until February 3rd, so he's going to certainly take his time to decide. The
judge has to be very careful on this because, remember, in a death case, and this is the 10th Circuit.
Everything is examined.
Everything, it is the most intensive appellate scrutiny imaginable. They're going to go through that, and this is the 10th Circuit Court of Appeal, not the 9th, where all of our stuff goes through. But this is the death penalty cases. This is a jurisdiction where it might actually happen, and it will be scrutinized like nothing else. So the judge is going to be very careful. I was impressed with the tone of the judge today. Very methodical, very calm. I thought the most interesting thing I saw was when this issue arose about the camera zooming in on the lips, and I watched a lot of this hearing of the parties. That's a huge mistake because
Could you? I mean, was it possible to tell what he was saying? I'm not going to, I hate to give credence to, quote, lip reading, but I can sometimes tell what people are saying by reading their lips.
It's something you got to be very careful of because, especially on a death case, again, the media wants to be in there. People want the media to be in there, but if you do things like potentially interfere with attorney-client communications, that's a huge no-no. That's where the public's right to know interferes with somebody's constitutional rights, and the judge was very good about that today. So
Clayton, yet to be decided, in addition to whether or not all these prosecutors are going to be disqualified, that's been kicked down the road a few weeks, but also the issue of whether or not this trial will be televised. What do you think the judge will rule on that? He's obviously extremely careful with what. There's been a lot of drama around the single camera, the pool camera that is inside for these preliminary hearings. What do you think the chances are the judge is going to allow that camera to be in there for the entire trial?
I think he will allow the cameras. Utah has an open court rule, open court policy. One can watch in real time, in real life, and cameras are favored to expose what is going on in the courtroom. There should be no secrets.
But we also know that obviously he's given a lot of care to whether or not that will happen. Matt, do you think that he will rule in favor of this? Because we have had many jurisdictions say no, and I've got to say, around this case, we have seen so many crazy conspiracy theories everywhere. I think nothing would be better than the, disinfectant of sunlight and for people to see and hear for themselves what the evidence is.
I totally agree. A lot of judges, they call it the OJ effect. That trial was publicized widely. People watched it, and there's a lot of judicial officers who believe that unfairly impacted the events. The jury had to be sequestered. But I agree with you. This is one that I think is better for everybody if it is televised. Everybody can see it. I've read about some of those conspiracy theories too. They are wacky as can be. Yeah, hopefully everybody just settles down a little bit and lets the process unfold here.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, said her husband was assassinated on camera. The trial of his accused killer should also be on camera.
Yeah, it's tough to argue with that.
Tough to argue with that. All right. Clayton Sims, Matt Murphy. Clayton, I'm sure we'll be talking to you a lot more as this case unwinds its way through the court system. Really appreciate you both.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.